have identified the cause of the mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
This is a rapidly emerging situation where there is not a cause for alarm.
The first US case has been detected. There's confirmation the coronavirus has reached Australia. China is urging its citizens not to travel abroad as it struggles to contain the virus.
We will be standing up Christmas Island as a quarantine area.
Foreign nationals coming from China are now banned from entering the country.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
The COVID-19 pandemic changed everything. Lockdowns and social distancing forced people to drastically alter the way they live. How people provided for themselves and their families was immediately impacted. The work from home movement changed people's needs and motivations. This presentation will analyze which needs were changed and how their motivations have been altered. We will also examine how the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the job market. Next, we will review the altered needs of employees and candidates. Lastly, we will examine how employee engagement and motivation has changed within the framework of the hierarchy of needs pyramid. In the end, we will suggest ways on how companies and organizations can adapt to the changing needs of their employees in order to succeed and proceed in this post-pandemic reality. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you The Need to Proceed, How the Pandemic Altered the Needs of Employees, Employee Engagement, and Motivation by Mike Avancula, Sarah Barnes, Alexandra Filenko, and Shar Sahota. To first understand how humans' needs and motivations change from the pandemic, it is important to examine how people acquire their needs and motivation. By examining Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we will have a better understanding of how people acquire these needs and motivation. Maslow's needs hierarchy condensed and organized the dozens of previously studied drives, which he called primary needs, into 5 basic categories, organized in a hierarchy from lowest to highest. Physiological, the need for food, air, and water and shelter. Safety, the need for security and stability. Belongingness and love, the need for interaction with and affection from others. Esteem, the need for self-esteem and social esteem and status. And lastly, self-actualization, the need for self-fulfillment and realization of one's potential. Maslow proposed that we are motivated simultaneously by several needs, but the strongest motivations comes from the lowest unsatisfied need. When satisfied, the next higher need in the hierarchy becomes the strongest motivator and remains so even if never satisfied. The theory recognized that motivation can be shaped by human thoughts, such as personal values, whereas earlier motivation experts focused mainly on how instincts motivate behavior. Maslow's positive perspective is revealed in his emphasis on growth needs and self-actualization, suggesting that people are naturally motivated to reach their potential. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation are another theory on how people acquire their motivation. Intrinsic motivation occurs when people are fulfilling their needs for competence and autonomy by engaging in the activity itself rather than from an externally controlled outcome of that activity. Whereas extrinsic motivation occurs when people want to engage in an activity for instrumental reasons to receive something that is beyond their personal control. Extrinsic motivators exist throughout organizations, such as pay incentives, recognition awards, and frequent reminders from the boss about work deadlines.
Next, I'm going to talk about how pandemic changed employee needs and expectations. In a recent Oracle AI at Work study, 88% of the interviewed employees said the meaning of success has changed for them post-pandemic. And then they are now prioritizing things like safety, mental health, and work-life balance. First, we're going to talk about safety. Being exposed to the health risks from a highly contagious virus has made people more alert about the health policies and procedures at work. Considering Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if employees' basic needs for a safe and compliant workplace are not met, their trust in leadership and their engagement with their work will immediately start to deteriorate. Employers can put such measures in place through simple steps like improving office ventilation and adopting stricter cleaning regimens. They should also reconfigure common spaces to make them safer and more accessible for employees in and outside of the office. They can also introduce comprehensive sick leave policy that would allow employees not to worry about taking a paid time off when they need to. The last one is integrated video conferencing that would allow in-office employees to connect with their remote colleagues seamlessly. Touchless access solutions can also help to reduce the spread of potentially harmful germs. Next one is work-life balance. For workers, one of the most significant benefits of work arrangements during pandemic has become the ability to take back more of their valuable personal time. Some chose to spend more time with their families, while others were able to create their own work schedules that allowed them to be even more productive at work. Either way, employees don't seem like they want to give up control of their time after the pandemic is over. According to the McKinsey report, more than half of employees said they want more flexible hybrid virtual working models, where employees are sometimes on premises and sometimes working remotely. Employees across industries and roles are insisting on continuing a more flexible approach to their work routines, and employers will need to consider that expectation in order to benefit everyone. As a way to promote flexibility, employers can focus on aspects such as extended parental leave, sick leave, flexible hours, and work from home policies, as well as introducing sick days for unexpected events like COVID-19. Between flexible schedules and opportunities for remote work, there are ways for organizations of all kinds to meet their employees' newfound need for control over their time. And the last one, but not least, is mental health. During pandemic, people have been struggling with feelings of isolation, being overwhelmed by having to balance caregiving and work, and fear of unknown. That's why mental health care is a significant issue that employees want their employer to show that they really take seriously. A national study carried out by Canada's leading human resources organization, CPHR Canada, found that future employees will likely search for businesses who have put mental health as a priority for their HR plans. More than 85% of the respondents think employers should be focused on implementing mental health programs in the workplace. As an employer, it's important to ask your health insurance provider about including the mental health services in their packages. It can be done through via different channels. It can be telehealth options, digital condition management tools, also available online. Another one is setting up an employee assistance program. Employee assistance program services are typically provided at no cost to the employee, and these services may be delivered in person, by telephone, or through information technology media, which is quite convenient. Because employee assistance programs, delivery models, and services vary considerably, it's important for employers to analyze and find the most appropriate for their organization. It's also important to be transparent with employees and communicate clearly about the benefits of these programs and what company does to ensure their mental health.